All right, so your last big project of the semester is going to be creating a business. All right. Um, you're going to do this in groups of three, right? You're going to make a presentation. It's going to be a lot of work. Okay, so make sure you get with partners to work with that you think are going to help you and do work. All right. And if you are in a group, make sure that you contribute to the group. Okay. Your business is going to be a food truck, most likely. All right. I know it says here your business can be a food truck, restaurant, or convenience store, but I'm pretty sure that we just decided they were all going to be food trucks. I think that's just the easiest to do. Okay. So you're going to be doing something like that. Okay. Now we need to make this simple. That way, because otherwise this could, become incredibly complicated and it can take months to do. Right? We're gonna streamline this and make it simple. Just follow the instructions and do everything that's in here. Okay. You are going to pick 3 items you are going to sell. The reason I think you should do a food truck is because then you can sell 3 food items, and food is easy to make. It's easy to look up the parts. If you're trying to do clothes, it's going to be hard to figure out like what are your clothes made out of? How much yarn do you need per shirt? I've had people do it in the past. It ends up being a mess. And without me here, I would pick something easy. Okay. So I'd do a food truck and I'd do 3 things that are relatively simple. Okay. Now, for your 3 items, you need to explain what you need to make and sell that item. All right. So here's what I mean by that. If you are going to sell a cheeseburger, right? What comes on the cheeseburger? Well, definitely a bun. Okay. Definitely the burger patty, or maybe even 2 or 3 burger patties. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Maybe cheese, right? And then other items that you might want. Do you want onions? Do you want tomatoes? Do you want lettuce? Do you want pickles? The more items you put on it, the more math you're going to have to do and the more complicated it is. So, don't do any kind of food that is super complex, okay? You can do bacon, you can do, jalapenos, you can do all kinds of stuff. But basically you're making a list of so what are you selling, and then what is everything that you need to make that. Okay. And you got to figure out 3 items. So maybe you have cheeseburger, maybe you have French fries, and maybe you have a hot dog, right? That's 3 very simple things. Maybe you want to sell tacos and you want to have 3 different kinds of tacos. Maybe you want to sell pizza and you want to have 3 different kinds of pizza, or maybe you want to have 2 pizzas and a sandwich. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you guys ideas. Okay. You're going to figure out what you want to do. This is up to you. Do you want to, buy a food truck? Do you want to buy a used food truck? Do you want to lease a building? Do you want to buy a building? That's up to you. Again, I recommend doing the food truck, but it's up to you. Okay, then you're going to make a floor plan of your establishment. Where's the kitchen? Where's the front door? Where's the cash register? Blah, 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 blah. If it's a food truck, what's in your food truck? Where's the sink? You got to be able to wash your hands. Okay, where is the oven, or where are the grease fryers, or where's the grill? Those are all things that you're going to put on your floor plan. Also, you're going to make a logo. You can draw it yourself. You can make it online. I don't care. Okay, you have your option for your employees. Just pick one. You want to calculate the employee cost per day. Okay, you're going to have to do a little bit of math to figure that out because there are 7 days in a week. So if you have 4 employees, you're paying them $15 an hour. They work 6-hour days, 5 days a week, right? So they each work 5 days a week. So that's like 20 days a week that you're paying an employee $15 an hour for 6 hours. You can figure out how much your employees cost per day is. What you want to do is figure out how much you are paying them per week, then divide by 7, okay? How much does the building cost per day? Again, why does that keep happening? This is per month, okay? And, there's 30 days in a month, so just divide by 30. Combine 6 and 7, that's your daily operating cost. That's going to be how much it costs to run your business for one day. So create an equation where X is the number of days and Y is the operating cost. It's going to be Y equals some number X, right? And whatever that number is, it's whatever number you got up here, okay? All right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going through this whole thing. All right. So you're going to figure out how much it costs to make your products. This is going to be the same math that you did the day before with the hot chocolates and the hot dogs and the chili cheese dogs and all that, okay? So up here, your 3 items, you are just rewriting this. This is not new. Come up here, copy whatever you wrote up here, copy that, come down here, paste it, right? Except, paste what you wrote. You get what I'm saying? All right, for each one of those items, you have to figure out how much it costs to make them, okay? So there's an example here that you can read. I want to do a different example. I want to do the cheeseburger one, right? So if we have a cheeseburger, let's stick to the bare minimum. We've got that's not right, Brad. Let's get bun, burger, cheese. That's all we're putting on it. If you want to put other things on it, that's fine. You're just going to have to do more math. You're going to have to look up more stuff. So we need to figure out how much does a bun cost? How much does a burger cost? How much does a patty cost? You're going to need to look this stuff up. Go to your favorite website. It doesn't, that where you can buy food. Kroger, Walmart, Meijer, Target, whatever you want. And the thing is that you're going to have to buy in bulk, right? So let's think about the bun, right? So I'm not doing this. You can read that. We're doing the cheeseburger, right? Let's say for the bun, let's say it comes. So you look it up at Walmart, right? And let's say an 8-pack of buns is $6.99. I just made that up, right? You want to figure out how much is it for one bun, right? Well, if you get 8 for $6.99, you need to do $6.99 divided by 8. That's going to give you some number, and that's how much it is per bun. We also need to do the burgers. So look up how much a burger patty costs, right? Again, you're going to buy them in bulk. Maybe you buy them frozen. You can buy them fresh. This is all up to you. It's just whatever you find, okay? So let's say you get a 20-pack of burger patties for $45, right? Again, you're going to do 45 divided by 20, okay? And that's going to equal some number. It's going to equal 2.25, right? So it'd be 2.25 just for one burger patty. I'll do that. I'll figure out what this is. 6.99 divided by 8. Okay, it's 0.87 cents. So 0.87. Okay, so that's for one bun, $2.25 for one patty. We need a slice of cheese. Again, we're buying cheese singles, the ones that you can buy at the store. You get 25 slices for $4.99. I don't know. So let's do $4.99 divided by 25. What's that equal? Let's ask the calculator. It equals 20 cents. About 20 cents. So how much does it cost for one cheeseburger? We need to add these numbers together. We need to do 0.87 plus 2.25 plus 0.2. That's $3.32. That is how much it costs us to buy the materials that makes one cheeseburger, okay? These numbers are fake. You should not be using these numbers. Look them up for real, okay? You then will do item number 2 and item number 3 in the same way. This is why I said way up here, you don't want to have 5 kajillion ingredients for your stuff, because then you're going to just have to keep looking up tons and tons more things, okay? So you're going to do that. You're going to figure out the cost for making your 3 items that you're going to sell, okay? You're going to write those here. Oh, wait, no, you're not. This is what you're trying to sell them for. Okay, let's talk about this. If it cost us $3.32 to make a cheeseburger, we don't want to sell them for $3. We got to make a profit. So you're making this up. I don't know what I want to sell them for. $10, right? Whatever. That'd be for a cheeseburger. Okay. You want to sell them for more than it costs to make them so you can make money, obviously. Okay, then you're going to create an equation to figure out your profit. Now remember, profit is revenue minus cost. So if I'm doing my cheeseburger, right, the equation for my profit is going to be, think about the price you're selling per unit and then subtracting per unit. Y should represent the total profit from selling X. Yeah, so you need to subtract, right? You need to subtract your revenue minus your cost. And then you're going to multiply that by X, okay, times X. So if I do 10 minus 3.32, that means my profit would be $6.68 per burger, okay? You know, pretty good. You can sell it for more if you want. Make it reasonable. Obviously, no one's going to buy a burger for $50, okay? Do the same thing for your other 2 items. Now, for number 8, you're going to make this up, but also do some research. You know, this might be like actually a good chance to use ChatGPT, right? You want to try and figure out how many you will sell per day. Ultimately, you're just making this up, but try and base it in reality. Don't say, I'm going to sell 1 million cheeseburgers per day, right? Let's see here. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I have a food truck that sells cheeseburgers. What is a realistic amount of cheeseburgers I will sell per day? Let's see what it says. He said, why am I saying he? ChatGPT is saying, it's giving me a whole bunch of stuff. It's saying it depends on where I live. You know, if you can say that you live in New York, you might sell a lot. It says reasonable is anything from 50 to 150 per day, right? So maybe I'll split that down the middle. Maybe I'll say I sell 100 per day. I'm going to write a sentence here explaining how I got that number. You don't have to use ChatGPT. I was just thought of this right now. You can Google, like, you know, how many hot dogs does a New York street vendor sell in a day? Like, there's different ways you can come up with this, right? You just want to try and figure out your, like, profit. Okay. So you're going to move on. Again, here you're just rewriting how many you think you're selling per day. Here you're rewriting your equation for your daily operating cost. That's way up here. That's this. It's this equation, okay? Your daily operating cost. Number 3, you're rewriting your equations for your daily profit from your 3 items. That is these equations right here, okay? And then you're going to post a screenshot below. You guys aren't going to post a screenshot because you're doing this on paper, so you don't need to do that part. But plug your 4 equations into Desmos, okay? And basically, you are going to figure out how much profit are you making for each one, okay? So let's think about our cheeseburger again. We are selling 100 cheeseburgers, right? How much are we making per cheeseburger? I already forget. We're making $6.68 per cheeseburger. If I sell 100 cheeseburgers, that means per day, I am making $668 just off my cheeseburgers. You're going to do the same thing for item 2 and item 3. You're going to multiply how many you're selling per day times how much you make for one item. When you get all three of those numbers, you're going to add those numbers together. Then you're going to say, is this number higher or lower than your single day cost? What is your single day cost? Your single day cost is your daily operating cost, this number right here. If you're making more money than that number, you're making a profit. If you're making less money than that number, then your business is failing. That's fine if your business is failing. You don't need to go back and change things. Then you're going to answer these questions using Desmos. Once you basically okay, so this is some number, right? Like, I'm just going to make up something, but let's say this is, $3,200. And let's say your daily operating cost was $2,000. Again, I'm just making this up. If you do 32,000 minus 2,000, that means you're making $1,200 every single day. Okay. Obviously, your numbers will be different, but you're going to use that number. Okay, this should have been right here. You're going to use that here. So after 7 days, how much money did you make or lose? Just multiply this number right here, multiply it by 7. After 1 month, multiply that number by 30 or 31. After a year, multiply that number by 365. Boom, describe at least 3 changes you would make. You guys can answer these questions. Okay, so that's how you do all the paper part. Now, you are then going to do a presentation for your business, okay? We haven't made a presentation in a while. I'm going to the assignment here. How do I see the rubric when I am in this mode? Submission and rubric. Rubric. Why can I not see it? So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the rubric in the presentation, I'm going to put the rubric in the paper that you guys have. So that way you guys can see the rubric, go through the rubric, all right? That way you can know everything that needs to be in your presentation. It's going to be 32 points, okay? You need your floor plan, you need your logo, you need your item sold cost, like how much it costs to sell each item. You need your operating cost. Wait, item sold cost. No, that's your cost for how much it takes you to make the item. You need your operating cost. You need your item sold profit. That's how much you make every time you sell one of your items. You need your long-term profit. That's the answer to those last couple of questions. And then you have a couple reflection questions at the end that I want you to put in there. So the reflection questions are 10 and 11. So put your answers to that in the presentation, okay? Hopefully that all made sense. If it didn't, just try your best. Hopefully the sub will get there on December 8th, and then he'll be able to help you out. You're going to present on Monday, December 15th. Oh, no, that's the last day you're able to present. You're going to present on December 9th. Maybe it might be December 10th. I don't know. Whenever you guys are done, you'll present. That's going to be up to the sub, okay? I'm kind of rambling now. I'm going to stop this. Good luck. It's the last grade of the quarter. Make sure you do it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a couple months.